Okay, so today I'm going to talk about toning up. Okay, so toning up. I hear quite a lot about I want to tone up this, I want to tone up that, and it's either normally it's arms, it's kind of abs, it's bum, it's legs. I want to tone up. So when we say tone up, let's look at what we actually mean. Typically, tone up means maybe I want to see some definition. I want to see some kind of shape within that area. I want to have a flat stomach, or I want to see some abdominal muscles, or I want to see a little bit of definition in my arms or my legs, or I want to see the shape in my bum. So whatever it is you're trying to focus on. So what I'm going to try and do is actually demonstrate this with this amazing bit of kit here, which essentially is some tea towels and a balloon and some balloons. Okay, so what we're actually looking at here is the representation is the balloon is your muscle mass. So we're going to call it any muscle across the body. It doesn't matter. So let's pretend this is your arms, for instance. So this is your muscle that sits in your arm here, and then these tea towels here are the outer layers. So you've got the skin, and then you've also got potentially body fat that sits on top as well. So what we're going to do, placing the muscle obviously underneath, under the skin and the body fat layers. So when we look at this now, looking at this tea towel here, how much definition is there? How much of that balloon, that shape of that balloon, can you actually see? Okay. At the moment, obviously not a lot. You've got that outer layer, you've got that skin, but you've also got potentially those layers of body fat that sit on top. So when it comes to toning up and seeing definition of the muscle, what does that actually mean? Well, there's a couple of things. There's a couple of real key factors to toning up. Number one is reducing body fat levels, and then number two is actually increasing the muscle size and shape underneath. So for instance, our first example here is you've got the muscle, you've got the outer layer. So if someone, let's say, doesn't do any kind of resistance training, and they do potentially just maybe cardio training, going out running all the time, or swimming, or just anything that's just quite cardiovascular, gets the heart lungs going, breathing heavier, but it's quite cardiovascular based, and it's not very much focused on resistance training. So we're not looking to really develop the muscle and change the muscle shape. So this is the sort of thing that can actually happen. So what happens is we do a lot of training, and potentially if our nutrition is good as well, then we can start to strip back those body fat layers. So this first one, okay, let's take that first body fat layer. So how much definition do we see within that kind of balloon there? A little bit more, and then we come back again. Okay, you can see a little bit more again. And then that last one now, we strip back that last body fat layer, so you can see a little bit more definition in that shape there. But in terms of the shape, is there a lot of change in the shape? Not really. There's not a big change in the actual shape of what's there in the first place. So it really depends on what it is you're going for. Is it the look that you're actually after? If you compare, for instance, a long distance runner with a sprinter, now they both may have very much the same body fat levels, so their body fat levels have come down, but when you look at them visually, they're completely different, aren't they? Obviously they train and they focus, their body is trained to get to the level they need for their discipline, for their sport, and that's absolutely fine. So, but obviously in terms of your own goals and your own focuses, focus on what it is you're trying to aim, what it is you're trying to achieve. Is it just a kind of skinny body fat level low with a low muscle mass, or is it a low body fat level with a change in shape as well, a change in the actual visual look, the size and shape of the muscle? So it depends. What we have here is potentially more your marathon runner scenario, where we've dropped in the body fat levels, got very low body fat, but also it's quite a low muscle level as well. There's not a lot of shape and definition in terms of the actual muscle itself. Let's switch it around now slightly. Let's see what happens when we focus on the body fat level, and also focus on the resistance training, the weight training as well. So let's take out our muscle here, so a kind of smaller level of muscle mass. We're going to put this one in now. This is representing obviously a bigger level of muscle mass. So someone that does weight training, someone that increases their muscle shape and muscle size. Okay, so we'll stick that in there now, and then we'll get those body fat layers back on again. So, as we can see, obviously, to start with, the overall shape is obviously bigger. It's obviously a much bigger mass, a bigger area. How much definition is in there? Again, not a lot, because we've got those body fat layers that are sitting back on top again. So what happens when we get our nutrition right, and then we actually drop body fat levels, but we've also increased the muscle mass through with resistance training, weight training, then this is what we start to see. So let's strip back the body fat layer. So how much definition have we got? Again, a little bit more. It's getting slightly more defined. We go again. Okay, how much have we now got there? Is there any more definition? Okay, we can certainly start to see there's a bit more shape in there as well. When we start to get down to those really low levels now, the body fat levels are coming right down. Then we get to that point now where we've got a much bigger level of muscle mass, and we've got a much better level of definition as well. So as we can see, when it comes to toning up, if you're looking to improve and change the shape of a muscle and the visualization, how it actually looks, then including both resistance training and getting your nutrition right will be the two key factors to actually seeing muscle definition in the first place. Okay, but so think about what it is you're trying to achieve, what it is you'll want to aim. Is it purely just dropping body fat levels but keeping the muscle as it is, so you get almost skinnier but there's no real change in the shape and size of the muscle? Or is it potentially more that athletic look? Let's say you go into kind of sprinter look, where you're getting body fat levels very low, but you've also got a much better better shape to the actual muscle itself, if that's the look you're actually going for in the first place. So I hope that helps to clarify toning up and getting toned, or getting ripped, or getting defined in any area. Two key focuses: get your nutrition right to drop your body fat levels down. And then when you get the resistance training element in there, and remember, resistance training could be anything. It could be using your own body weight. It could be using bags of sand to lift up and down in the garden, bags of cement. It could be dumbbells. It could be resistance bands. It doesn't matter. Your body doesn't know any different. It just knows resistance. And as long as that resistance overloads you, and you're working harder than normal, your muscles will grow and will get stronger and will get a better shape to them. So those two things together: nutrition, drop the body fat levels down; resistance training to help increase the muscle shape and size, and then hopefully you will create that definition, and that outer layer will just shrink wrap around that newly developed muscle, and you'll have the shape and size and definition that you are looking for. So I hope that helps. Any questions at all, guys, please let me know below, and have a great weekend. Bye.